is definitely undeniable that the month of August is one of the most interesting months we've ever had at the Madlanga Commission. From the appearance of Mswazi Madlanga, well-anticipated appearance, to the issuing of the instruction for a criminal case to be opened against Suleiman Karim, the rot that is happening in the IDAC, and currently the testimony of Fidel Adams. But imagine if I was to tell you that the month of September is about to be even more interesting, because not only one, but 4 subpoenas have been issued by the Madlanga Commission.
I talk about Steve Mthakathi,
Mr. Msibi,
Bafana Sidane,
Joe Ferrari Sibanyone.
You might be asking yourself, who are these individuals? You'll have to stick around for you to find out who are these particular individuals who are going to appear in the month of September. But you should remember that we are currently dealing with the stream, the beautiful stream of the Big Five cartel, where they are being exposed left, right, and center. But what is worse is that there's a preservation order that is talking about over 30 cars, 77 million rand that is being owed, problems with SARS, and more than anything, allegations of money laundering. The story is getting even more hecticer and even more interesting. If you want to find out what is actually going on, stick around. Let us get to the video.
As far as we understand, there is, of course, a provisional order against his assets. 32 of his cars have been listed, including a guest house in Brynston, and SARS is demanding just about 77 million from him.
So we know that this week we heard explosives regarding Mswazi Msibi, and there's a lot of people that watched their testimony. They were blown, and I myself was even shocked. But there's more other things that are interesting that are happening on the side, which are going to happen on the month of September. And one amongst them is the fact that Manyoni is going to appear on the 28th of August as well as on the 2nd of September. While we have Bafana Sidane, who is going to appear on the 28th of August. Those people have already been subpoenaed. It's a sure thing. That Rule 10.6 notice does not work anymore. They want them there physically for them to account regarding allegations against them. To those who want more dissection on what we spoke about in this channel regarding Manyoni and what we should expect with his testimony, please go to one of my videos. I'll try to attach them at the end of this one. But with Bafana Sidane, it seems like they're going to question him specifically on a Stokvel called Shosholoza and Money Talk. That is a Stokvel where there's allegations that there is some money laundering that is involved, and his banking details have been subpoenaed. And this is the reporting that was made by Buleli Jones from the ENCA.
Definitely, we just got off the phone with a couple of sources who are telling us that Bafana Sidane, close associate to Joseph Banyoni, is expected to appear before the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry on the 28th of August. That's next week, Friday, just before Sibanyoni takes a stand. Now, what we understand he will be touching on is Shosholoza and Money Talk. It's a Stokvel, but there seems to be an allegation that, of course, there is what would have been possibilities of money laundering that would have taken place there. And I think investigators of the Commission have been looking closely at this particular matter. Bank statements subpoenaed, going through those records, trying to put pieces together to see what was going on here. And we know that Sidane is a very flamboyant character, usually waving money on social media and, of course, wearing, designer clothing as well. So that will be central to his testimony. But again, he will also have to answer about his relationship with the late taxi boss, Jothan Mswazi Msibi, whose text messages were extracted today at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. So that's what we understand. It's a developing story. We're following that closely. Yesterday, we did say Sibanyoni will appear on the 28th as well, and on the 2nd. On the 1st, he can't come to the commission because he has to attend to his court case where he's facing charges of fraud. And of course, extortion as well, related to a 2025 matter. So that's where we are for now, and that's what we understand is happening.
We know that not long ago, Mr. Bafana Sidane was also co-accused with Mr. Manyoni in the case of extortion, which was filled with a lot of drama, from a prosecutor being threatened, their charges being withdrawn, actually the matter being removed from the roll, to the matter actually being re-enrolled, and every drama that actually unfolded with those proceedings. But it looks like finally they are about to face the Madlanga Commission, of which I think most of us, including myself, we have been waiting eagerly and patiently for that. But it gets even more interesting because there's a subpoena against Mr. Steve Motsumi as well as Mr. Ignatius Mthakathi. And if you have forgotten already who are these individuals, I'm so disappointed. I am gonna tell you, because not long ago, Mswazi Msibi informed us that those two individuals are one of the individuals that have been very close to Mr. Mswazi Msibi.
I can confirm that I know Mr. Motsumi and that I have done a commercial transaction with him wherein his company had lent me an advance, one of my companies, an amount of 5 million rands. I do not have any relationship with Mr. Ignatius Mthakathi and have never had any dealings with him.
So let us first start with Steve Motsumi. I'm not going to go deep into Steve Motsumi because I think we've been speaking about him. And also in the video where I spoke about Joseph Manyoni, I did touch on him. But Steve Motsumi, Mr. Steve Motsumi, let me respect him. Sir, Mr. Steve Motsumi is one of the well-feared men, especially in this taxi industry, business industry that is going on. Not just Sibiya who fears him, even General Sinona fears him. He's just one of the well-feared men. But that's the thing, the SAPS are still investigating because they had suspicions about Steve Motsumi then. But from Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, the information that he told us at the ad hoc committee is that the investigation is starting to get hectic now. And I think the reason maybe the investigations are starting to get hectic now probably is because of what Mswazi said about Steve Motsumi in relation to Shadrach Sibiya, that those two individuals have some relationship. So it looks like Steve Motsumi's appearance is also going to be around the month of September.
So Ket Matlala, when he met with me in that meeting, he was afraid of the people that he was talking about. And he made it clear that what he's sharing with me in a straight language, you'll refer to as snitching to people. So he was giving out information that will have compromised his safety. So he was giving out information that if it were to come out, maybe his life and his family would be at risk. What I like, that's why we did not communicate. But what became evident to that is that the person who facilitated the meeting, Jairus Nona, when he appeared before Madlanga Commission, he was afraid to name those names. And when Kat appeared before this commission and introduced that meeting, I was not in the country. When I became aware of it, I then sent a WhatsApp message. I actually tried to phone Jairus Nona. He didn't answer the phone. When I sent him a message to outline what the meeting is about, the same message that after sending to Snona, I shared with yourself.
So what can we expect? We have to expect to understand his relationship with Mswazi Msibi and his relationship with people like Suleiman Karim, and more than anything with people like Mswazi Msibi, as to how he ended up giving Mswazi Msibi 50 million rands. How did he get there? And whether he's also in the mining industry, and how did he get to be part of that kind of like syndicate that was going on, of them trying to get technology like grabbers as well as trackers, which enable them to surveil certain people, individuals, and everything. So it looks like he might have to answer questions around there. However, we will get to that testimony of the grabbers when we are dealing with Mswazi later on, because Mswazi is late, and it looks like anybody that is implicated there is the one that will have to answer on his behalf. And Steve Motsumi is one of those people that are at the center of what we heard this week regarding Mr. Mswazi Msibi. Then let us move to one of the people that are appearing, and this one is very important because there's just even a parallel process that is going on, which is extremely dramatic and is making you ask yourself a lot of questions, and that is Mr. Ignatius Mthakathi. Before we can start talking about Mr. Ignatius Mthakathi, I wanted to remind you guys of this moment at the Madlanga Commission. I don't know if you guys remember this moment specifically. This is exactly the moment that we knew that it's about to get down, because that is when Advocate Scotsman was about to go deep in relations to the chats between Mr. Fannie as well as Mr. Ignatius Mthakathi.
No.
So Mr. Ignatius Mthakathi is one of the people that was heavily denied by Shadrach Sibiya. When he appeared at the Madlanga Commission, he said he doesn't know Mr. Ignatius Mthakathi.
Correction. over lunch, I made few calls to try and find out whether am I talking about one and the same person when I talk about Steve or Mthakathi, and I was advised that those are two different people. So I just want to say I'm correcting it. It's not one and the same person. And whatever question that may follow, I'll follow that. But I was just fixing that part. Thank you.
Okay. You say you, over the lunch break, established that it's not one and the same person.
Yes.
Were you able to establish who it is?
Yes, they say it's someone else. It's not the same Steve.
Who's they?
When I say they, I say I made few calls, and it's not one and the same person.
But still, you said they say. So Ms. Hassim wants to know who's they.
Oh, I made few calls, but I managed to find someone who says, no, I know them both. To say to me, no, this one is not this one.
Maybe I'll come back to that, but let me ask you this for now. Do you know a person named Ignatius Mthakathi?
No, I don't know him.
But we found out from Sergeant Nkosi that actually Msibi was lying. Knows Mr. Ignatius Mthakathi because high chances he met him in the farm of Mr. Mswazi Msibi.
You say, indeed, good day, General. I have a meeting with Mthakathi and others in regards to the Mama issue. Do you see that?
Yes.
And then General Sibia says, but I also want to meet them urgently. I'm sitting inside a plane to Brazil, coming back on Friday. So at the time, did General Sibia know whom Mthakathi is?
No, according to my understanding, yes, he knew.
He knew.
Yes.
And he wanted to meet Mthakathi.
Yes.
And he wanted you to arrange a meeting with Mthakathi.
I was already meeting with Mthakathi.
No, you were meeting with him, but General Sibia also wanted to meet with him.
Yes.
So he knows him very well. But why is Mthakathi so important? Why is Mr. Mthakathi so important? Mr. Mthakathi is so important because of some of the things we've heard at the Madlanga Commission. Number one, we've heard that he's, I think Tibbs, the one that was unalived together with AKA, has some relationship. I think Mr. Mthakathi is his uncle because they said that Tibbs is Mr. Mthakathi's nephew. So he's very important in that light, number one. So this line of question regarding Tibbs and the unaliving of AKA was in relation to a CCTV footage that was sent to Mr. Sergeant Nkosi. And he was asked as to why was the CCTV footage sent to you and what was the importance of that. That is when we started hearing the name of Mthakathi as well being mentioned in that context.
Where did you receive that, or how did you come to be in possession of that footage?
According to me, it was all over the news.
The footage itself, you could pull it down off the internet.
Yes.
Why did you send it to Mr. Sibanda?
Because we were talking about it myself, Mr. Sibanda. AKA's friend is a nephew to Mr. Mthakathi. As a result, Mr. Sibanda knew the deceased.
Secondly, we are finding out that Mr. Mthakathi was involved in the Vernaging unaliving. He was involved, I think, with the investigations or something of that kind from what we heard from Sergeant Nkosi. Sergeant Nkosi told us that Mthakathi specifically went and provided some information, ID copies of one of the people that were alleged to have been involved in the unaliving of Armand Swartz. And he was just so involved in the investigation, especially after he was told by Sergeant Nkosi that someone that he knows might have been the one that have unalived Armand Swartz, and the police are actually investigating that person that he knows.
Did he ask you to confirm whether the people that morning who killed Mr. Swartz and who were arrested were in fact sent by Mr. Mthakathi.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not.
Yes. Can you just explain what it is he was asking you to confirm exactly?
Okay, firstly, commissioners, he did not say, I must confirm that they were sent by Mr. Mthakathi. He said, I must confirm whether he knows them or not, because according to him or the information, the suspect are known to him.
From then, we see that he was so involved in this particular investigation that after like 2 weeks, they said 2 days or 3 days, he then sent the clip of what happened to Mswazi. And that clip is not a clip of outside, it's a clip from the inside. And there was just a lot of questions as to how did he end up having that particular clip regarding the unaliving of Mswazi.
And that video, I'm not going to play it at this stage, but what it is it's the CCTV footage of the murder of Mr. Armand Swart.
That's correct.
Why did he send it to you?
As you see, after he sent me, Commissioner, after 45 minutes or an hour, I gave him a call to ask him, as in, why did he send me this? He said no, he wanted to show me that he also got this information.
There's just a lot of questions around there, but Nkosi was just dodging a lot of questions. He was refusing to answer any questions in relation to Babu Mthakathi. And also another instance where we see Mr. Mthakathi being involved is in relation to the unaliving of Mswazi Msibi. They had some rivalries that were going on with Manyoni, and that is where we see Mr. Mthakathi coming in as a person that was representing. They said he was representing the family of Santako. It's not clear what he was representing, but he came there fighting in relation specifically to the violence that was going on after the unaliving of Mr. Mswazi Msibi. So that is what we know so far about Mr. Mthakathi, and there's just a lot of things that are going on with him and the connections that he had with Mr. Mswazi Msibi.
After Mr. Jothan passed on, there was a stream of taxi violence or taxi murders in Johannesburg, Pretoria Central. So what transpired? The Santako Executive Committee, they then decided to go and meet the then Minister of Police, that is General Peggy Kele, to discuss with him about this matter, that they must be investigated, because after Mr. Msibi died, these were people who were murdered. Some taxis were banned here. So Mr. Mthakathi was part and parcel of that delegate on behalf of the family.
And also, do you guys remember the Mama issue? Mr. Mthakathi was one of the people that were at the center of this Mama issue. And we don't know what is actually going on with that Mama issue, but he's part of the people that were at the center of the Mama issue. So I don't know how that will go about, the commissioners, how they will go about. So he will have to answer regarding the Mama issue, because Shadrach failed to give us answers. Nkosi did not want to tell us what is the Mama issue. Probably Mr. Mthakathi will tell us what was that Mama issue, because he was involved in that talks regarding Mama issue. His name was there, that they're going to have a meeting and talk about the Mama issue. So it looks like his problems, though, are not just him appearing at the Madlanga Commission. And from what we heard from Puleli Tweety Jones is that He's right now been served the 10.6 notice, but we know that in most cases so far, these individuals, after that 10.6 notice, they will have to appear before the Madlanga Commission, especially looking at the allegations that have been leveled against Mr. Mthakathi, as well as the evidence that is before the commission. The person that I think might not appear, but I think there's also a high chance that he would appear, is Mr. Mthethwa. So you guys remember that yesterday we found out during Vusumuzi Kepmatala's testimony that there's also Mr. Mthethwa, and Mr. Mthethwa specifically is the one, probably, I'm not sure that he's the one, but we heard more about him during the time of Katiso Molefe's raid, and he's part of the people that called the SAPS and was standing outside during the raid of Katiso Molefe, asking questions, you know, in a way, part of the people that were interfering with the work of the PKTT when they were raiding Mr. Katiso Molefe's house. And it looks like it was Mr. Mthethwa was one of the people that actually called Godfrey Libya to go and intervene in that process of trying to get the police to actually stop the raid and call the Hawks to go and interfere, because they felt like the people that were there were not really SAPS members. So I think that probably him, but also I think the allegations against him are serious. He'll have to appear. That is why I'm saying that this stream of the Big Five cartel is one, for me, maybe you might not feel the same, but for me, I think it's going to be one of the most interesting segments we've ever had at the Madlanga Commission. Like, I feel like it's getting better by month. By the time Madlanga ends, I feel like would have been like, where is more? We want more. We want more. We want more. That is why I'm one of the people that are advocating for the extension.
I do not have any relationship with Mr. Andrew Boy Mthethwa and have never had any dealings with him.
And then similarly, as with the previous question, is this somebody you know, though? And if so, how do you get to know him?
He's also a friend to the late Mr. Msibi.
Now let us move to the parallel process that is happening against Mr. Ignatius Mthakathi. It's going to blow your mind and shock you. So apparently there's a preservation order, and mind you, he is challenging that preservation order. So what is that preservation order about? So we know that mostly these businessmen, they are moneyed, and they always have a lot of cars and a lot of properties and all of that. So apparently Mr. Ignatius Mthakathi, there's a preservation order that is attaching his cars and one of his properties in Brynston. And it seems like there is somehow an extortion that is involved, amounting to 77 million rands. It's not clear what is actually going on, but this is how Buleli Tweety Jones actually explained that part of the 77 million, as well as the contractor that is involved in that particular situation. It looks like some tender. I don't know what was going on, but to me, it sounded more like some extortion that was kind of like going on. I just don't get it.
As far as we understand, there is, of course, a provisional order against his assets. 32 of his cars have been listed, including a guest house in Brynston, and SARS is demanding just about 77 million from him. The allegation is that or rather the state alleges that Mthakathi would give money to a contractor who was at Eskom and was cash money, and in exchange this contractor would then pay via EFT to Mthakathi as well. So this money, which was given in cash, would then be used to pay this individual's employees, and SARS believes that there was tax evasion. In fact, they also suspect there could have been instances of money laundering. That case, we understand, will be before the court next week, where Mthakathi is challenging this preservation order. That's a developing story, and we know that he, of course, has featured extensively here at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, where he's been implicated by other witnesses.
They're also investigating him in relation to tax evasion and probable money laundering. So it's crazier that right now there is that parallel process that is happening against him, and it does not look good for him at all. So I don't know what you guys think about all of this. I am so interested to see how this actually ends up. It looks like, yeah, the mites are falling little by little, because even Maumela, the same thing happened. There was a preservation order. He didn't challenge anything. Everything was forfeited. And the next thing, it's over. So I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but with Mr. Ignatius Mthakathi, it seems like he's challenging the process and he's standing his ground to say that is not going to happen. But that's the thing. All of these individuals are tied by one center, and that center is Mswazi Msibi. And Mswazi Msibi is one of the very important clues when it comes to understanding the Big Five cartel. I don't know if he is the ringleader or what, but I think we as the public have made our own conclusions that he is the leader of the cartel. So now, let us talk about him and his testimonies, those explosive WhatsApp and what he's been up to. And mind you, all of that we've heard so far is not even, it's just the brink, the small piece.
What I said in the past, honorable member, is that there was a gentleman that was very big in the taxi business. He's late now. He had a game farm in north of Pretoria. Talk about taxi bosses, talk about business people, very prominent one. Talk about politicians, very prominent one. Will all make a turn in that place. I had conducted a peace talk in KZN on the taxes. He came there. I think he did not appreciate what I said in that meeting. When he left, I had this thing from people that are close to him. One of them is this Sergeant Nkosi, because he grew up with him there. He was his father. Where this man says, I want Mkhwanazi to come to the farm. If you can't bring Mkhwanazi to the farm, that means you don't have control over Mkhwanazi. Because he believed that if you come to the farm, it's a sign of respect to him. So everyone, that means they walk into that farm or drive into that farm, they are subjecting themselves to his authority. So this person was that powerful, that man. So many people were associated with him. That's why I'm saying there was that parallel kind of managing the country that was run in a farm. And there are many people of his, some of them brought us here today that were attending this gathering. So that's why I'm saying the majority of the politicians know him very well. And so he goes, he passes on, other people want to take over from him. So that's why we had to stop. General Sibiya says at one stage, communicating to Matlala, that I don't have anyone else to look after me except you, Matlala. Mswati is gone. So when you have a general saying that, he's handing himself over to Ken Matlala by that communication. It's a worry. It tells you that we were almost having a problem.
So this whole testimony started by Advocate Tiskarson actually reading the chats that they found from Mr. Msibi's phone. I don't know how, but I will tell you guys my theories at the end of the video, how I think Advocate Tiskarson might have gotten or might have found these particular WhatsApp chats. And here we are looking at some technology deal that was going on. These people were literally going for advanced technology that they can use to track people, surveil them, you know, those grabbers grabbers and jammers, all of that situation. So what we are getting from the testimony is that Fannie Nkosi somehow lied. In a way, he made himself look like the cop of the cops, even though he's just a sergeant. His level is so low, especially when you look at the ranks in the SAPS. It's so low, but he used that for him to actually get people that are from the Czech Republic to actually listen to them and do what they want. So they worked with a company that I think specializes in technology, and it seems like it is headed by a man called Sean Jacobs. And it's at the center of these allegations. There's someone that was literally helping people like Fannie Nkosi, Mr. Steve Motsumi, Mr. Mswazi Msibi, as well as Mr. Katiso Molefe. So those are the people that were at the center of this. So they were separating themselves. So it looks like the first deal that includes Mr. Sean Jacobs was the one that was headed by Nkosi as well as Mr. Mswazi Msibi the late. And it looks like the second parallel process was headed by Mr. Katiso Molefe and Mr. Steve Motsumi as well as Mr. Mswazi Msibi. So the Czech Republic one, they tried their best. They even had presentations in South Africa. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it worked because after those presentations, they then went to Swaziland. It looks like the Swaziland deal did not work. So they wanted to take that advanced technology to Swaziland as well. I'm not sure why it seems like they were too reliant on Swaziland, but it looks like that also was part of the deal.
My concern, we're talking about a grabber here. We don't know what else. I mean, you can see one conduct where he's signing and putting a stamp and force number to allow an international organization to come and make a demonstration to private individuals in South Africa. What if it was weapons and other things that are not authorized by SAPS?
We don't know, but it is a very legitimate question, Commissioner. I mean, we did see the exchanges with the man whom he saved as Deputy President Didi Mabuza, who Mr. Mashile, I think, who seemed to have been suggesting an arms deal. We don't know where it ended.
And what does it say about the use of stamps at SAPS? I mean, if any captain or constable can just...
But I think every captain must have a stamp, just because they have to use the stamp in their official duty. So, for instance, you go into your local police station to get an oath commissioned, the captain uses his stamp to commission your oath. It's how the stamp is used, and of course, a South African looking at that document would think, no, this doesn't on its face come with, this on its face doesn't confer the authority of the SAPS to deal with a grabber.
Then I want you to ponder on this thought. I'm not saying it's actually happening, but I just want you to ponder on it. It's just something that came to my mind. Do you guys remember Shadrack Sibia when he appeared at the Madlanga Commission? They actually questioned Nkosi. They actually questioned Nkosi about the chats he had regarding Shadrack Sibia and Shadrack Sibia going to Swaziland, and Mr. Mswazi Msibi being told about this trip of him going to Swaziland. I don't know if it was about a different business venture, because when Nkosi was asked about that, he failed to answer. But I don't know if Shadrack Sibia knew about this whole process, but I wouldn't be shocked. But also, it looks like Mr. Motsumi was told about any trips that Shadrack Sibia was making at Swaziland. That is why I'm saying that. I don't know, allegedly. I don't know if whether it was in relation to what we've heard right now about this advanced technology, or it had something to do with other businesses, because we have heard from Fannie Nkosi that Mr. Mswazi was so involved in the many different business ventures.
Mr. Msibi, that where General Sibia is going, General Sibia's movements.
Thank you, Commissioners. I was not specifically telling Mr. Msibi about Mr. Sibia's movement. I was informing him about someone that died at Eswatini because he's got a relationship with the kingdom of Eswatini. And I was telling him on those bases, this is what happened in Eswatini. Not that I was giving General Sibia's information to Mr. Msibi.
So we are hearing that that's what happened. Unfortunately, when that did not work, there was another process that parallel was happening when the other one was actually happening. So he lied, Fannie Nkosi, and even portrayed himself as the cop of the cops, putting stamps on these documents. So there was just a lot of mess. And the question remains, did the Czech Republic actually know about this? Did they do their background check? What happened for them to actually end up falling for this deal? When we find out about the parallel process, also the parallel process is also about the advanced technology. And this process is also involving one of Mr. Mswazi's companies, and also they want advanced technology like grabbers. So from the information that has came out is that private individuals like me and you and people that are not part of SAPS and crime intelligence cannot just have these grabbers or this high technology that is used a lot in investigations, is used a lot in surveillance and all of those things. But with them, they got to have it. So they had to look at statutory regulations to see if whether the laws allow for them to actually use this high tech. But I love this educational explanation from Abramji, who explained how actually this whole things of grabbers actually work and why it is very problematic and illegal for private individuals to actually have this particular high technology.
It's illegal for anyone to have those particular devices, and it's well regulated, especially by ICASA and also by the intelligence communities. Now, when it comes to a grabber is commonly used by law enforcement agencies to try to locate the exact location of a suspect. You need a special permit, you need even probably a court order to use a grabber, and only governments are allowed to use them. So the grabber, if you use it, will take you to that exact location where, for example, a suspect might be hiding, where the phone can be located. When it comes to a jammer, the jammer simply blocks the signal. We know again it's commonly used when these robbers commit truck hijackings, when they want to remote jam your car, for example. They use these jammers, and many of the suspects that have been arrested and the robbers that have been arrested, police confiscate these jammers. But clearly, these jammers are available on the black market, but at a very, you get different grades of jammers. When it comes to the grabber, those grabbers are very expensive. We are talking of millions and millions of rands. And even to buy them on the black market won't be that easy, because we know it's quite an expensive device, Naledi.
Then now we move to Carney Links. Looks like Mr. Mswazi Msibi's relationship with Carney Links was mostly in relations to the fact that he was providing protection to called Carl Phillips, who had problems, I think, with other people that were stealing for him. But also it looks like they had a business venture that they were part of, and it involves substances like that green tree. So they did give us a video of that green tree, and later on we are finding out that there was a permit that they received which allows them to have something like that. I don't know if they had that green tree, they had the permit before they actually had the green tree, or they had the permit after. But from Advocate Justin said the probably high chance they had the green tree after, meaning that they were operating illegally at that time.
That there was some other permit in place, we don't see it. And we are investigating whether that was the case. But what it seems like is that what we are looking at is production that took place before a license was issued, or certainly before this license was issued. We will be making inquiries to establish what the true state of affairs was. If it wasn't permitted, then this would be illegal cultivation of dagga, which would be a crime under the drugs, I forget what the Drugs Act is now called.
And then now we are moving to Mr. Mswazi Msibi and Ekurhuleni, and how Zengumalo helped Mr. Mswazi Msibi try to rig a tender in Ekurhuleni so that he can receive it.
We see that Mr. Msibi appears to have used Mr. Ngumalo, who is someone who we previously have met in connection with Mr. Msibi, to rig a tender for him at Ekurhuleni.
So here we see it was his company, Camproc, that was involved in that particular deal. And we see that Mr. Ngumalo was pulling the strings, giving him updates as to what is going on with the particular tender. And voila, that particular tender was awarded to them. And after that, we see someone that seems as if it's Mashazi, but it's not clear if it's Mashazi because the word she was used. So we're not sure if the word she is actually referring to Imogen Mashazi or not. But this she apparently received some money in euros, and it's a lot of money that she received. And combining that with the earlier reports and articles that we've seen recently about Zengumalo funding that luxurious trip that Imogen Mashazi took, everything starts making sense. We didn't understand why that would have happened, but it seems as if slowly but surely everything is starting to make sense as to why that even became the case.
46,256.98 first thing on Monday. It appears that item 6 of the extract dated 16 August 2023 and is likewise marked incoming. I have no recollection of this message, of the trade to which it refers, or of the person referred to as she. I'm accordingly unable to furnish the details sought in paragraph 2.5 or 2.6. At best, I simply recall that the late Mr. Msibi had dealings in foreign countries, the intricate details of which, however, I have no personal knowledge.
What we became aware about who Z is was that he was a person that was working very close with the late Mswazi. And as a person who was the brain behind the taxi finance, he was managing the taxi finance under Santaco. So that's a relationship that we know of him. We've seen on the WhatsApp chats now about the case that he had opened and the communication then between him and Sergeant Nkosi and them. But to what extent is involvement that we cannot say what else that he does. But we know him as a person who's been running the taxi finance as a business within Santaco.
Very influential, tender fraud, corruption, linked to Sergeant Nkosi, allegedly demanding and directing investigations through Sibia's office.
Yeah, well, we don't have evidence of that yet.
Then we move to Suleiman Karim and Mr. Mswazi Msibi. So we heard from Vusumuzi Kirimatala that he met Suleiman Karim at Mr. Mswazi Msibi's farm. So that's how he started having a relationship with Karim, because they were both in the security business. So we are finding out that the company of Mr. Karim, which is Ziggy's, as well as the company of Mswazi Msibi, were involved in the tenders that are issued by the Minister of Transport. So they were just going after those particular tenders that were issued by that, and we see money trails that were between Mr. Karim and Mr. Mswazi Msibi. And it looks like somehow there was some orchestration that was happening and attempting to interfere with prosecution in relation to defeating the ends of justice. So I think that I would have appreciated more context if the commissioners did that, but I also am not angry as well, because Mr. Mswazi is no more. So they can only do much. And these people that are involved and that are implicated here, some of them don't want to talk like Karim. He decided that he'd rather go to court, he'd rather go to jail and fight all of this in court than for him to appear, because he knew that the rot is deeper. People like Mswazi are involved, people like Mr. And others, probably even Mr. Motsumi and whoever. But that's the thing. If he doesn't talk, others are going to talk. And if those people implicate him, there's going to be adverse findings against him. And either way, he's going to end up in prison.
We haven't worked out what this is about, but it does seem that there is an attempt to interfere with prosecutions in relation to defeating the ends of justice here. And the very next message that Mr. Msibi sends to Advocate Msibi is transnational coachliner and Ziggy joint venture, which is sent. I mean, it's sent 2 weeks later on the 9th of September. But that is the message that his counterparty, that same message, has sent to him on the same day. So we see on the 9th of September, if we go back to 280, the top of the page, the counterparty who's been dealing with the transport contracts with Mr. Msibi and who has been forwarding proofs of payment to Mr. Msibi, sends that same one-line message with the misspelt transnational coach lines and Ziggy joint venture on the 9th of September at 4 p.m. And Mr. Msibi forwards that to Advocate Makosini Msibi on page 326, almost immediately upon receiving it.
So that's what I have for you guys with regards to that. But that's the question that most of the people have. And the question is, how did Tuskasen get this text? And there's just a lot of theories. One of them, just going to talk about two though. One of them is that, okay, he managed to get the phone and retrieved all the chats, that's it. Or maybe he got the chats from someone else's phone. We don't know how he got them. But another theory is Itumeleng Nku. You guys remember Itumeleng Nku, who testified at the Madlanga Commission, called himself an ethical hacker. And he was seen as a police informant at the beginning when the testimony of the Arton bust was discussed. We thought that he's an informant, but over time, especially after the testimony of Witness J. So Witness J testified at the Madlanga Commission and his transcript was made available on the website. I think we'll probably testified on the 22nd of June, or his transcript was made available on the 22nd of June, but he testified in camera. We don't know who he is, but he came and dropped explosives regarding the fact that Mr. Itumeleng Nku was not an informant. He was actually working with these individuals that wanted to track these consignments and they wanted to actually be the ones that take this consignment before the police actually even arrive. They had an operation, some kinda, and the people that were involved was a man called Alpha and someone called Ipsy Boss, and somehow the name of John Wick was mentioned. So we know that people have made their own assumptions that John Wick is Vusumuzi Matala, even though it's not a confirmed thing that it is Vusumuzi Matala. But a lot of people have referred to him, including Brown Mokgotsi, have said that John Wick is Vusumuzi Matala. So here we're dealing with consignments, and we know that one thing about these people, I don't want to name anyone specifically, but these people that are part of the Big Five, they are everywhere. I didn't think that they were involved in high technology like that. And you remember when we heard Nkosi's testimony, we found out that they were also might have been having some interest in the illegal firearms or the firearms business or whatever the case may be.
Can I ask you some questions? What is the relationship between the person who is described in your phone as Comrade Didi Mabuza, Deputy President, and Mr. Motsumi?
They don't have a relationship.
Then why would you be forwarding an invitation to a meeting sent by Comrade Didi Mabuza, Deputy President, to Mr. Motsumi? Why would you forward the screenshot to him?
I really don't know.
We're finding out that they were involved in the tobacco things and all of that. It's crazy, it's insane. And now these consignments, and we know that we saw a video that was sent by between Vusumuzi Ketmatlan and Mike Van Veek about some substances, powder substances. So I don't know if also they might have been involved here because they were afraid and they didn't want to botch that particular operation. They had to make sure that the particular operation is carried out to its perfection. So other people have made theories that Tumelenku might have been the one that might have revealed this information, because remember that he did not even finish his testimony in front of us because his life was in danger. So he's probably the one that revealed, because he was the one that was tracking the consignments, working with other companies like the Yellow Jersey Company, working with different individuals, including some people like Abu Mashaba who were acting like they are SAPS members. They are just JMPD. There's just a lot of state actors that were trying to actually make sure that these powders do not get to the final destination. Unfortunately, the plan went very wrong and very bad. So I don't know what you guys think about all of this and the theories that have came forward regarding how these chats were actually found. Lastly, I know I keep on saying lastly, I just wanted to talk about Mr. Getsemane, which is Siyabonga Getsemane, who's a businessman as well as a taxi boss in KwaZulu-Natal as well. So you guys remember there was a J50 against him. He was supposed to be arrested. I did make an episode about that. Unfortunately, his arrest was not carried out because he filed an urgent interdict. And the arguments that he's raising is that, number one, previously the senior prosecutor declined to prosecute on this particular matter. Number two, he says the way the J50 was obtained is questionable, including the fact that there was no affidavit in that particular J50. So meaning that high chances the magistrate or the judge who issued this J50 might have been misled. And then he spoke about the fact that he's been in communications with the SAPS and his lawyers have been talking to the SAPS, and that the fact that they just wanted to arrest him in a dramatic way, he doesn't want that. He thinks he could have been summoned to the police station. He could have presented himself, then arrested then. Not this thing of him not, being called and then not being arrested at the police station. Instead, that dramatic process. So the matter has been postponed because I think it was in court yesterday. It has been postponed, but if the court grants, he's going to be arrested then. And that's the thing. These charges are not only against him, but also against the daughter. And the daughter is currently not in South Africa. So what might happen in this case is that we might see a probable extradition.
The police arrested some of his security guards. I think about 2 of them, if I'm mistaken. But when they were arrested, those security guards were protecting one taxi boss in KZN from Inanda, Taxi Association, who is a chairperson there. His surname is Getsemane. When that Getsemane was arrested after invasion of a site, a mine in KZN, the police responded. They were arrested. they were detained. His guards, his Matibeti's guards, were amongst the people that were arrested. So that what triggered Getsemane to start accusing the police on a lot of things. But I learned later that Getsemane has issues with other families in the taxi business in KZN, which is historically between them that dates back to, 2013 somewhere about. So I then believe that that means Motipedi being very close to Getsemane, maybe because Getsemane has issues with another family. It perhaps Motipedi assume that I'm associated with the enemies of Getsemane.
So I don't know what you guys think about all these updates. Let me hear your thoughts. Let me hear what you think. Comment your thoughts in the comment section down below. Otherwise, guys, I'll see you on my next upload. Bye.